Wisconsin Broadcasters Association Hall of Famer Bob Berry ruled Milwaukee's airwaves in the 60s and 70s. He spoke with countless musicians and celebrities over the years. Bob collected remarkable recordings of these encounters, which he's now sharing with the public. Here's Bob.
Very interesting, but thoroughly supercilious.
That very interesting line made a lot of money for Arte Johnson. It was said by his character Wolfgang, the cigarette-smoking German soldier hidden behind some tall weeds on Rowen and Martin's popular TV show Laugh-In. He also played the part of Tyrone F. Horneigh, the white-haired, dirty old man in a trench coat who tried to seduce Gladys, the spinster, on a park bench. She would hit him with her purse, causing him to fall off the bench. He kids about his brother being kicked out of many schools, but he and his talented writer brother won several Emmy Awards while working on Laugh-In. You'll recognize some of the other programs Artie appeared on during his long career. At the end of this podcast, you'll hear a sample of some of his Laugh-In characters.
Hello, Artie.
That's my name.
You know that producers for a while have been saying, what can we do with a guy who jumps out from behind a bush and says, very interesting?
Not much.
I had a note here from my producer saying, don't mention Laugh-In. He doesn't want to talk about that.
No,
he wants to be known as a serious actor.
Well, the only thing is that, unfortunately, when Laugh-In is mentioned, the dimensionality is so narrow. And Laugh-In is 10 years ago. And it's like anything else. I don't know too many people that like to talk about something that happened 10 years ago, unless they're a football player who scored the big touchdown 10 years ago. And suddenly, that's the last piece of glory they've had. But I've been working in this business pretty long, and I recognize that my recognition came from Laugh-In. But I think that there's a time and a place where, hey, I've done things since Laugh-In.
Yeah, of course I saw you on Love Boat, and you were very funny there. I don't know,
I did a movie called Love at First Bite, which made $40 million.
Right. But you're a funny guy, Artie, and it's going to be hard to...
I do that instinctively, but I'm actually an actor. You see, and that's the problem was to convey the fact that, hey, this man is an actor to a group of people who, have seen him in the only one dimension.
How did you get into that comedy niche? I mean, how were you chosen for Laugh-In, first of all?
Out of New York. I came out of New York as a guy who had worked in the small nightclub, worked on the stage on Broadway, and I had done a couple of television series that were not too successful, and the producer of that particular show, Laugh-In, was a chap who had seen me in my formative years and liked me as a talent, and pursued me and got me into the show, and that's the legitimacy of it. But I was an actor who was doing an acting job, as far as I was concerned. Unfortunately, the acting job was totally comedic, and in being totally comedic, I got thrown into a niche of being the funny comedy guy. And it was marvelous because, hey, it paid a lot of bills.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm the last one that's going to knock it.
And still is, right, with the residuals?
Well, the residuals, the show fell on its proverbial. It did not work. Unfortunately, the presentation, I think, was probably more the reason for it not working than anything.
Artie, what makes you laugh? What entertains you?
Oh, I'm a patsy. I'm a patsy for funny things. I think there are two things that I don't really laugh at. And one is when people talk with food in their mouths. I don't find that funny. And the other, I'm not big with arrow humor. I don't like arrows. I never quite got to that arrow. There's something funny about an arrow. I never found arrows to be funny.
How about Steve Martin altogether? Some of the other things he does.
That's one of those great cases where it's like that little girl with a curl on her forehead. When she was good, she was very, very good. When she was bad, she was terrible.
Right.
That's the same thing that happens here. And it's a matter of judgment, and it's a matter of, I guess it's a matter of taste in a way you want to go with it. I find some things are hysterical, and some things I find it ridiculous. Why do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And but we all live and learn. That's it. There are no. Somebody will find something humorous about any subject they want, and there are others who you can take the funniest thing that you and I could sit and get hysterical, who will be so offended by it. Humor has no boundaries in that sense.
Well, Steve Martin certainly hasn't done real well with his movies.
But I understand the new one is. I read a couple of reviews on the new one, and once again, there's an ambivalence about the humor of what he's doing. But that it's hard to understand what is funny, what isn't funny. I have found myself laughing at things that were really embarrassing, and I'm sure a lot of us have.
Sure.
Laugh, and afterwards we go, "My God, that was tasteless," and yet you laughed at it.
Yeah, that's right.
I myself, hopefully, in my lifetime, I've tried to steer away from as much of that as I possibly could because I don't want to do things that are offensive to me in the final analysis, and I'm too sensitive to what I think people are looking for.
Yeah. Were there a lot of things that were cut out of Laugh-In because of that?
Oh, are you kidding? When you're doing an ad-lib situation, you can't imagine what went on. You know, I think the amazing thing of Laugh-In is that the complaints that used to come from people about the morality of Laugh-In, if the same shows were done, they could be done on Saturday morning for the children. That's how complex our society has become in a decade.
Yeah, that's right.
What was so offensive in those days suddenly is very humorous today.
Right.
And they go beyond it. Listen, we got soap operas that are talking about abortions and pregnancies and people who are fooling around and chasing after each other. We never had that on Laugh-In. People have grown up. There's a growing up period.
Do you have any children, Artie?
No, 2 dogs.
And you're the honorary mayor of the island of Hawaii.
That's my home.
Oh, jeez, what a place.
I just got off the phone now because I'm flying over there to do we have the Ironman triathlon every year.
Uh-huh, right.
And I am sort of the patron saint of the triathlon, and I'm going over there to host the awards banquet. I will be the master of ceremony. I'm very into that, and I love the island of Hawaii. I love the islands of Hawaii. And as I have been made the honorary mayor of the Big Island, and I love to fish. I go over there to fish, and it's a marvelous place in the world.
Well, like they say, paradise, and it really is.
It really is. It's something very, very special, and for those who haven't been there, I certainly tell them to go there, because first of all, it is part of the United States, and you can eat the fruit and drink the water, and the natives do understand you when you speak English.
Right, right. Artie, what's next? Do you have any...
I'm hoping that when I get over to Hawaii that I can possibly do maybe a Magnum as a guest, you know, things like that. I've got coming up this coming Monday on another network, on NBC, I have the George Burns special, where I'll be doing the old man. Tyrone will be working with George Burns in a couple of sketches.
Great.
Then I'm on the first Love Boat of the season, where Bert Convy and I do a thing in drags, which is, it shows you, you know, on the gamut.
Yeah, you really do.
I'm trying to be serious, and every time I turn around, they got me doing some kind of crazy nonsense.
Let me hear the old man, Tyrone.
Oh, Tyrone is marvelous. Tyrone and George have a discussion of how to live to be 110. It's a little bit crazy, so it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really should. Artie, thank you very much.
Hey, Milwaukee is one of my sort of home away from homes. It has been for years. I've been very fortunate. The Hyatt has been extraordinary to me when I've come into that town. And the museum, of course, the County Museum is one of my favorites in the country.
Well, you've done the Melody Top Theater here.
Yeah, I worked there under their old management and had a lot of fun.
Right, and of course, you graduated not too far from here.
Oh, well, I was a U of I guy.
Right.
No, I used to come up to Madison every once in a while to watch my brother train a mouse in his dormitory. Yeah, my brother was, I think he was one of the great few that flunked out of every Big Ten school. Sometime down the line. I know he knocked off Wisconsin and Illinois in one semester. He wound up being a comedy writer, which gives you an idea.
Oh, that's what happens to guys who do that, huh?
They
That's great.
0.2 beer on the lake. I remember that jazz.
Yeah.
You know, I've been out to the War Memorial, and you know, the restaurants. The Usingers are very good friends of ours, and I have sort of a lot of, you know, the restaurants. My God, I used to go to hang out at Ratch's and.
Yeah, we got fantastic restaurants here.
Oh, the food. I love Milwaukee. I really do. The Chamber of Commerce owes me a lot of T-shirts, though. If you ever talk to them, tell them they never sent me my T-shirt.
Okay.
They owe me. I did a thing for them, and I said I would do it. I needed a couple of T-shirts from Marquette and from, you know, so the local area. And they said, oh, yes, forthcoming, and they never did. So I don't trust the Chamber of Commerce. Tell them that.
Well, I hope you come back soon. You can collect in person.
I'd like it. I love it.
That'd be nice.
And I hope someday to come back and visit with everybody and just sort of fool around. It's a nice place to be.
It was nice having you.
Mr. Berry, it was really nice being had. Oh, Bob Berry, you think it was nice having me. Bob Berry? You're the one who had me? Oh, no wonder we lost the war.
Bob Berry, WOKY 1992.
Thank you for listening to Bob Berry's Unearthed Interviews. Be sure to subscribe and rate our podcast on iTunes or wherever you find your podcasts. You can find all the episodes at WisconsinBroadcastingMuseum.org. Check out Bob Berry's book, Rock and Roll Radio Milwaukee. Book sale proceeds support Angels Kids Fund and Donate Life Wisconsin. The preceding program was made possible by a generous contribution from Terry Baum.